Good morning. I feel like every time I have students traveling, they ask me for some inspo to get on their yoga mat. So I decided to record one of my favorite morning stretches. We start off with child's pose, moving into thread the needle. This reach overhead also gets a really nice side body stretch incorporated into the posture as well. Be sure to hold both sides for about 3 to 5 rounds of breath. You kind of feel when your body will finally relax in. Biggest thing is make sure your head is down on the ground and your palm faces up when it threads through. From there, you'll eventually pull both of your hands underneath you and gently make your way into a tabletop position. Separate your hands shoulder width distance, your knees hip width distance, and then move through a few rounds of cat-cow. Exhale as cat, really press up between the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale as cow, work on how low can you get your belly and draw your heart forward. And just do this a few times, basically ebbing and flowing with your breath until you feel ready to step back into a high plank. Hold your head up in line and then lower down all the way to your belly. Moving right into a somewhat supported cobra pose. Zip up your legs, tent up your fingertips, and it's just a gentle inhale, lifting your head up. Gotta love Lumen coming in here, bringing in more toys, as I can always use some added doggo props. After you do maybe 3, 5 of these cobras, feeling the back side of your body warm up, you'll then bring your hands out like a capital T and then slide open. This stretch is one of my favorites, not only in the morning, but especially after long road trips or even like pretty big climbs. Whether you go outside or inside at the climbing gym, this is an awesome one to not only open up through your chest, but also stretch into your shoulder. And it works surprisingly down into your biceps and kind of all the way down into your wrists, your forearms. Big exhale, press up, high plank, and then straight back, downward facing dog, where I like to walk it out for a little bit. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Shake out your head a little yes, a little no, as you see fit. Then take some baby steps up to ragdoll. Especially in the morning, I take a fairly wide stance. There's some days I might even go mat width distance here. And once my forehead finally releases and touches onto my forearms, I start to bring my weight a little bit more into my toes. So work with your exhales and just give yourself permission to hang. When you're ready, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Couple shoulder shrugs at the top. I always have a little bit of snap, crackle, and pop through here. And once I feel like my neck and everything's worked out after those few initial downward dogs, reach up, take a nice side stretch over. Focus on lengthening, not really how far over you can reach, but more so the length through both sides of your obliques, a little supported back bend. I love interlacing my hands behind my head. And then just be mindful that you hinge from your hips, not from your waist area when you forward fold. Halfway lift, and then some squat and curls. You'll notice my heels are raised, hips up. Reach, get big, some good shoulder mobility, side stretch. Inhale, exhale, side stretch. You'll run through this a few times. Take any back bend that feels good to you. I know sometimes people take an open chest expansion into this forward fold. The halfway lifts are meant to reset, to lengthen. And then those squat and curls are just great. Tight little ball, a little bit of compression. Definitely warming up your ankles, your arches, stretching into your toes. And I'll run through this morning sun salutation sometimes, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It's really just a nice meditation, moving breath movement, and you also get this nice warming effect for your entire body. So after you move through this a few times, you can choose how many you want. At least do 3. That would be my recommendation. There's a point where you'll probably feel like it's time to move on. And once you reach that point, you'll find a moment of pause, reconnect to your breath. That's really a key piece for me with my morning practice. And then after that, I always have to negotiate around Lumen. We're always sharing a yoga mat in the morning. It seems he feels the need to always chew his bone on about 60% of the mat. Always start on the right side. A little knee to nose rounding, working into your core, right knee, right tricep. Add in a little twist underneath. Notice how I'm keeping my upper back level. When you step through, just slowly lower onto your back knee. That's going to start to add a quadricep stretch in on the left side. I personally love staying hinged forward. It provides a deeper stretch for me. For you, especially in the morning, things might be extra tight, which is understandable. And if that's the case, blocks underneath your hands or bringing your hands to your thigh and staying upright will feel a lot better. From here, it's a pretty simple transition into a wide leg forward fold, Prasarita. This variation is adding a downward facing dog quality, so you'll notice my hands are stretched out in one long line all the way from my tailbone to my fingertips. And the biggest thing I want you to note is that my hips are in line with my heels when I take that Prasarita. Transitioning to the back, you'll take left side knee to nose, left tricep. Cross it under, feel a twist. And then when you step through, work your foot next to your left thumb, lower to your back right knee. Inhale your arms up. If you wish, you can bring your hands to your thigh or stay hinged forward like I did. So whatever you did on the first side when you were facing forward, just make sure to mirror that when you're facing the back so that way your sides are even. And then again, the transition's just back through Prasarita, nice little forward fold. If you don't have any low back sensitivity, you can angle your toes slightly in. It will deepen the stretch. If you're tighter in the hamstrings, make sure to keep a wide stance. And then you'll step forward, taking some grounded twists. Bend your back knee. You can even lift your back heel. Be sure to center your grounded hand. Feel the rotation from your thoracic spine rotate up. And then adding in a little bit of a chest expansion. So you can take this variation or work your palms toward one another. Adds in a little bit more stretch, pull. Then the beautiful thing about this practice is just coming back down to your mat, lying down, couple rocks side to side, massaging out your low back, especially after those first few pieces of Sun A warming up. Feels really nice. Now starting to promote a little healthy digestion in the morning, hugging in your right shin, avoid pressure on your right knee. You can even add in some ankle rolls here. It can feel nice. I feel like our ankles don't get enough love, especially in yoga, and they do so much for us for getting around throughout the day. Taking that into a supine twist. A lot of times my back will crack on these supine twists. It feels like such a nice release, a big exhale. And again, now left side hugging in on your shin, add in some ankle rolls if that feels good. And then as you exhale, crossing your leg over your body, be sure to scoot your bottom hip underneath you when you do take a supine twist. Ideally, you want to get your hips to stack over one another. Some mornings I can get my back shoulder all the way down. Other mornings it's not happening. So just respect your body. Don't force anything. And then I typically love to end with roughly 8 to 10 breaths in Supta Baddha Konasana. Provide the soles of your feet can come together and touch without any pain or sensitivity in your back or your inner groin or your outer hips. A pro tip is the further you take your feet away from you in this pose, it does become a little bit more gentle, a little bit more accessible. The closer you pull your heels in toward you, a little bit deeper of a stretch. When you take your hand to your heart and a hand to your belly, it truly does allow you to feel your breath. So as I move through these last few breaths, finishing my practice, it kind of feels grounding in a way, just to obviously feel your belly expand, lift, rise. You can truly feel when you exhale your body just kind of allowing that tension to dissipate into your shoulders against the ground. Your head gets a little heavier. And just take some inventory of how your overall body feels before you decide to move. Making my way out, I often give myself a big hug, a couple rocks side to side, just massage out along my spine. And then often it's time to go get coffee because my French press is typically ready in about 10 minutes. So that makes this ideal in the morning for me. I boil the water, get all that set up, feed Lumen, let him out, and then we get our morning stretch in. So I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me some feedback if you want any other sequences.